Hello and welcome to the Games Only Podcast, episode 22. They call me Brownback Dupree, and I'm your host for this evening. No, I can totally make it through this, guys. Don't worry about it. To my south and west, tickling the ivories is Skinny Boy Lee.
They actually call me Brown Baby Boy. Wait, no. Brown Baby Bradley. God.
Brown Lips Blue.
Brown Baby Boy. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Oh, boy.
And to my east.
Hello!
God damn it. It's going well. The man on the jugs. Bony Liver Jones.
Hey. The sad thing is that it's actually my voice.
Just sound normal. Welcome to Games Only Podcast, episode 22. We're going to talk about games. How's that sound?
That sounds good. We were spending too much time on the jazz
intro.
Yeah, for the record, we came across this make your own jazz name thing, and that's what we went with.
And
make your own
really
jazz name.
Screwed it up and said Brown Baby Boy.
Brown Baby Boo on the rusty trombone.
On the rusty. I will be playing the rusty trombone.
Brown Baby Boy.
And I'm on the washboard.
Yeah, why am I playing the jugs? This is supposed to be for a fucking jazz band.
Everybody play. You wouldn't play jugs if you saw jugs in front of you to play? Come on.
We're not being the good old boys, all right? It's the jazz band.
This is a breast reference. Let's talk about some games. Doc, I see Disgaea 4 is back up on the list of games that we played. What is different in your Disgaea experience?
All right, I gave it a second shake because for some reason I really, really love tactic RPGs. Even though I said the grid system's getting old, I fucking love grids for some strange reason. And
Math,
yes. I love being able. My character can only move into this many places. This is excellent. I can plan things out. But it's fairly deep. There's some interesting quirks about it, interesting little pieces to make it a bit more in-depth. One of the main problems I have with this is that you can spend points that you get from fighting to level up your spells, your magic. And the way you get those points, they call it mana, the way you get those points is by killing an enemy. So I realized that this is bullshit because, I have a healer that just heals. That's all she does is heal things. And she's not going to kill any enemies. So it's kind of annoying in that aspect where I have to actually equip her with a weapon and have her try to kill some things so she can level up her spells. But the game kind of combats this with a grid outside of the battle system. They love grids. In which you can put characters next to each other, and they'll get a certain percentage of the mana with a character that's right next to the other one. So it is possible to get mana without having to kill any enemies for that character. So they kind of balance it out. But man, I ran into one big fucking problem in this game. I made it through almost to the end of the second chapter. I was feeling good, and I lost one of these story battles. So there's a total end scene specific for that battle, which is kind of cool, in which, the person you think, wow, I actually killed you? This is amazing, and so on and so forth. So I'm going through it. I'm clicking through because I want to, start my game back up, and the load screen, or what I assume to be the load screen, pops up and asks me to pick a save point. Okay, so I picked the last one, and it was for a New Game Plus. Essentially, if you lose a game, you can restart the entire game with your same character, levels, items, and whatnot, starting from the beginning of the game.
Okay.
If you lose one match. So I didn't see that. I didn't see any load game for New Game Plus or anything like that, and completely erased my save data. So essentially I still have all the levels and everything like that, but I have to go through another 20-odd story battles to get back to where I was.
Okay.
So, needless to say, that went back to GameFly really fucking quick.
Okay, so you were done.
I was
at that
done.
point. Okay.
It was just completely ridiculous at that point, in which it's like, why?
Like HP asks me, why punish yourself?
Yeah. Essentially, like I said before, Disgaea has these weird quirks in which, like, I could bring a character all the way back down to, like, level 1, and he'll level up faster or level up better in certain ways, and I guess this was their thing. If you die, you can start a new game plus right away with the same characters. It didn't mention that, or at least I didn't see it. It wasn't, like, bright flashing, like, please do not try to overwrite your save game if you do not want to. And I went ahead and did it. So that was really fucking annoying.
I'm sorry to hear that. So, are you effectively done with the Disgaea series because of this?
I mean, I still have the third one on the shelf. I have the first and the second one for the PS2. I might go back to there, or I might go ahead and play, try and pick up a different strategy RPG to play. One that doesn't try to trick you to start all the way from the beginning.
Okay. So I'm assuming I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you recommend Disgaea 4 to anyone?
Those that were a really big fan of the first three.
Okay.
Because it's more of the same. Oh, and you know that sardine joke, HP? Did you see the video I tweeted to you?
Yes.
Did you watch it? Do you find it comical?
Not particularly.
Not particularly. That is a running gag. They kept talking about sardines all the way through Chapter 2, and I'm sure they would keep talking about it all the way to the end.
Is it because they've crammed in that joke like a sardine?
And you're supposed to be the comedian around here.
Yeah, it made me laugh.
Even so that it's the sardines are an actual focal point of the main story. Essentially, the Prinnies are the little blue penguin things from the series, and they are lost human souls or something like that need to work off their sins or some shit. And the boss of the Netherworld wants to kill off all the Prinnies, but your main character made a promise to give the Prinnies a sardine. So he doesn't want want the Netherworld to kill off the Prinnies because he wants to fulfill his promise of giving them a sardine.
A singular,
Horrible.
just
giving them each one sardine.
Okay.
Horrible.
Terrible.
Well, that sounds fascinating.
So unless you're a fan of the series, I would not touch this fucking game at all.
Okay.
It's good that you didn't start with the first one.
I've played the first one before, and the first one, the story is not as bad as focusing around sardines.
Well,
all right. Would you like to talk about the game I can't pronounce?
Well, go ahead and try and pronounce it.
Sengoku Basara? Samurai Heroes?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Sengoku Basara.
Sengoku Basara.
Heroes.
Let's pronounce every vowel in there.
Sure.
Sengoku Basara Samurai Heroes. This game is a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. I've played it as well.
Yeah, it's essentially a Dynasty Warrior clone.
Okay.
I think I haven't played a Dynasty Warrior since like the first or the second one. So Sonny, you're the expert on that type of genre, that type of game, and the Dynasty Warrior game. So chime in if they've changed things up. But this Sengoku Basara is essentially a Dynasty Warrior clone with a bit more RPG aspect to it, in which you have a lot of weapons and you can do slight customizations to all the weapons. And you can buy accessories for the weapons, and you get a companion. So it's a little bit more, I want to say, in-depth than a Dynasty Warrior game. But like I said, I haven't played a Dynasty Warrior game since the second one. So maybe they've bumped it up a bit. But it's set in feudal Japan, and you have the option to pick. There's like 8 main characters, and I think the more you play the game, the more main characters you can go ahead and unlock. Mm-hmm. And I decided to play as Masamune Date, who is this badass samurai with one eye. They call him the One-Eye Dragon, and he uses 6 katanas at one time that kind of look like dragon claws.
Nice.
He's very cool. He's the coolest looking guy out of the starting characters. Everybody else looked kind of lame. Like there's this emo guy with purple hair. That's all right. But it's a Dynasty Warrior game, so essentially you're going through waves and waves of enemies, but there's a little bit more strategy depending on what map you are. The first map I had to raid this guy's, compound, and I had dudes on a boat that were going to infiltrate in, but I needed to support them by tearing down gates on my way through, so I needed to make sure I hit those gates quick enough before the boat, sunk. From attack. So it's not just like mindless hack and slash, kill all these people at once. There's usually a little bit of strategy. And you get bonuses for like conquering certain areas that take away the bonuses for bosses. And it's a pretty well thought out game for a simple hack and slash.
I know Dynasty Warriors sometimes has horses. Like, is it just you on a...
There are horses. You see horses from time to time. I've really only seen them maybe 2 or 3 times, but the second, I hop right on and start swinging shit. But pretty much it's you and a main companion, and then there's a bunch of troops that you do not control. Each set of troops has a squad leader, and it's the same thing for the enemy. You kill the squad leader, they don't really know what to do, and they start running around scared and crazy. And the more points you control on the map, the more squads you're going to get, and the faster you can push through it. It's a pretty decent game. I like it. Can't say really anything bad about it. It's a PS3 exclusive. Since I had dusted it off for Disgaea 4, I decided to just go ahead and start playing a lot of PS3 games just to get that through and done and over with. But yeah, I had a pretty good time with it. And it looks like it's a really big game because I beat the story once through with Masamune Date, and I think I have like 1% of the total game complete.
Whoa.
And then I looked, and I had 18% of the total game complete for just that one character. So I think they really want you to collect like every single accessory for the person, and like there's an overall map in which you can choose, what battle to go to, and sometimes if you choose one path, the other ones close up. So I can see how there could be more. I could have missed some fights depending on the path I took. So it seems pretty well thought out and pretty in depth. So
okay.
Yeah.
No, I let you keep going. Do you feel like you are going to be compelled to start again and go through the story as different characters? Are you going to go back as your one Masamune Date?
I actually did go back and played a bit more with Masamune Date, and it's getting pretty easy because my character's high leveled up with some really good weapons. So I kind of fly through at this point, but I'm experiencing a whole different story arc, so it's pretty interesting. Like, for this story, for the New Game Plus, I'll call it, the final boss that I killed in the first game was, the person that I was essentially my rival. He beat me in a battle, and I had to go and chase him and, kill him. And for the New Game Plus, that was one of the first things I did, as opposed to having to do a bunch of different battles and go through to catch up to him. His path was like the first one open. It was a completely different board, different area, and I killed him first, and then I had a whole different story arc to go through. So it's pretty good.
Okay.
Sonny, anything to add about this? You said you played it.
Yeah, I played it a couple of years ago, I think, and it's better than it ought to be for being a clone. Yeah. I really like it.
Is it better than the Dynasty Warrior games, or?
Hell, nope.
Okay.
Did you play as one character? Did you play as multiple characters? Like,
he's talking to you, son, because I already said.
Oh, yeah, I played as multiple dudes.
Okay, is it vastly different as different characters?
Not vastly different, no, but, it's what you would expect from a game like that.
Okay.
And there's not too much to say. It's really cheap now, so.
Yeah.
Like Dynasty Warriors, try the other flavor.
Yeah, I didn't catch any frame rate drops or anything like that, but they kind of do that. If there's a lot of enemies in the area, they restrict your field of vision for them, so sometimes they'll pop out of nowhere, but I didn't have any frame rate drops, which is nice. A lot of times for those games, you have 500 people on the screen, and it just slows right down.
All right. Sounds good. Can you recommend this in general to anyone? Is this for No?
Nah.
Nah.
I say it's okay. I mean, it's easy to get into. It's interesting enough. A little bit, combat's a little mindless, but you can, spice it up a bit. But yeah, if you're a fan of like the Dynasty Warriors series, this is definitely a game for you.
Fantastic. Have you been playing anything else this week, Doc?
Not really. Played some Ultimate Marvel, some The Old Republic, and that's about it.
All right. You mentioned Ultimate Marvel. I'm going to move right into me, if that's all right, Sonny. Great silence means
like, bro.
All right, fantastic. Yeah. So I played some Marvel vs. Capcom 3 last week with a couple friends, Sonny being one of them.
Hello!
We're friends.
Hello!
You guys didn't call me to play the Marvels?
It's literally the first time
absolutely not.
I had opened the game. So these were my first matches, and for someone who kind of casually plays fighting games, and I casually played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is surprisingly easy to get into. I don't think the basic formula is so different that you can't just pop into it. I mean, it's a lot of maybe simple inputs, but you can kind of chain them in a way that I have not yet understood, and maybe I'll never get to. But I had a lot of fun. It's a flashy game. The characters are fun. It's fun to be ridiculous. I believe I had a blonde team.
Yeah,
once.
so you're like our friend Locke that decides to make themed teams? Yeah,
I love themed teams. So I had the blonde team, and I had like the fire team with Dormammu and Phoenix, and it's just...
See, you haven't lived till you've had a purity team in Ultimate, whereas everybody is pure white.
Draped in white.
I didn't... I still don't know all the different color options, but yeah, I would love a green team. I think I've done that before.
Green team.
Skrull, Hulk, and She-Hulk.
Yeah. But that's the kind of... I mean, this game is... for a game this cheap is a lot of fun if you have people to play with. I played through the single player on not normal, but the one below that, probably easy. And I beat it without much difficulty. So I don't know. The single player doesn't seem to teach you a lot in terms of...
well, there is a mission mode in there. Have you tried the mission mode?
I have not yet tried the mission mode.
Okay, that's where they actually teach you how to do combos. And
fantastic.
Some setup. They don't teach you everything about the character, but each mission is significantly different that you can start thinking about how to chain these things together.
Cool.
So
yeah, I got Marvel vs. Capcom 3 real cheap for less than $10.
Like $8.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the new one's out, so of course that one's going to just...
I paid $69 for mine.
Oh, okay.
You paid $69?
Yeah, I got the limited edition when it came out.
Oh, you got the limited edition? Yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, so I am very happy with my purchase. I really enjoy this game. It's a lot of stupid fun. And
who were your favorite characters?
I'm not good enough to have favorite characters yet. I like Captain America because it's ridiculous to have. He's a ridiculous character who doesn't make any sense. I did pretty well with Phoenix. I know her health is kind of
non-existent.
Yeah, but I wrecked somebody with Phoenix the first time I tried her. So.
Well, there's a little secret about Phoenix that I don't think you know.
Hey, don't treat him like a baby.
She's a redhead?
No, damn, you got it.
Yeah.
No, she can turn into Dark Phoenix.
Oh.
If you save up 5 bars of Piper and then she dies, she'll be reborn as Dark Phoenix.
Oh.
And then it gets even crazier from there. So crazy, people said that she broke the game.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that game's a lot of fun. I can recommend it to kind of casual fans. I don't know. I know Doc can speak to the hardcore player better, and it sounds like if you really want to get into it, it's deep enough to really get into this game, but I'll never be that into it.
If you like the more single player, then Ultimate Marvel's for you with the introduction of Heroes and Heralds mode. Simply because the regular vanilla Fate of Two Worlds has almost no single player content at all.
Yeah, the new one has plenty of reasons to play when your friends aren't on.
Yeah. So that's my Marvel vs. Capcom 3 experience. Sexperience. Let's dig right into Dark Souls, shall we?
Sure.
All right. Should I ask you questions, or do you just want to roll with it?
I'll just roll with it, and then you can tell me.
Then I can ask questions.
How I'm doing it wrong.
Can I ask questions too?
No.
Am I out of this question
Why
phase?
would you be allowed to speak?
Shall I sit in the corner with the dunce
Please
cap
do.
on?
What has changed in your life that makes you think you should talk?
So Dark Souls.
I'm on this podcast. I thought I could talk.
That's a good point. Let's do it.
All right.
So Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a game that punishes people who don't play the way I play games. I find it less punishing than a lot of people find it, because I'm going to go slow anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. The first time I died was on that first, whatever demon in the big room where you jump on top of him. I don't know anybody's name. Yeah. But I died because I was being stupid.
I think he's called a pit demon?
Sure, whatever. So I know Sonny talked earlier about a lot of this game is you die, but you die because you did something dumb and you know what you need to do to not die. So my first experience dying, it was, I should have stopped trying to block and I should have started rolling more. I got past that one, and I got past the demon on that bridge thing, ledge, and
nice.
Don't have much.
You've been making
the first boss.
Far.
Yeah, got that dragon tried to kill me but didn't with the fire, because I saw there was oil or something, gas on the street.
That's pretty good, because I died. Because
it was
why the
shiny.
fuck is a dragon gonna come out?
It was shiny and it looked like it could be lit on fire, so I went really slow. And again, I go really slow in games, so this game isn't as punishing. But I have gotten to a point where
sometimes you make bad decisions.
Yes, there's this Black Knight dude. And there was
anything with red eyes is bad.
There was a comment that said "Hey, try fire." And so I'm like, I got all these fire things, all these fire bombs or whatever. I'll just throw them on the dude, and it did almost no damage. And he turned around and thrust while I was blocking and killed me. So I was like, let us not ever talk to this man ever again. But yeah, I'm now in a part where I'm trapped in between a metal boar and one of those Black Knight dudes. And I actually thought I had a good idea, because I drew the Black Knight dude towards the boar, and I thought maybe they would fight each other. But they don't.
No. Everybody wants.
They
to kill
don't.
You.
Yes.
They don't want to kill anybody else but you.
Right. It's not Skyrim where you can have a giant fight a dragon.
I had that happen last night. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
One of the things about the game is if something looks like it'll beat your ass, it's
going to beat your ass. So the problems I have with Dark Souls are, one, I hate doing stuff over and over again. That is just not fun for me ever, at all, ever.
This game is going to be a problem.
Even if it's a learning experience?
Well, so So fighting like the menial dudes who don't do any damage to me again and again and again, I'm not learning anything. I'm just being bored by it. Like, I either try to speed that process up and do something stupid, or I continue my methodical pace and kill these guys really slowly, and then it's like, what am I doing? I should be doing something else. I've seen this. I've been here. I want to move on. Does that make any sense?
Well, what's holding you back? You can move on. You can do it, buddy. You got this, man.
Sure. Well, so problem number 2 is you come up to enemies that you probably shouldn't mess with, and there's like, I don't know, how am I going to get past you? I need a strategy or something, and if I pick the wrong strategy, guess what? I'm going to have to trudge through those same loser guys again, and that's really boring. So I'd like a little more information, and I know that's not Dark Souls' thing, but right now I've got nothing. Like, so do I go to a tutorial? Do I play this meta game with Dark Souls? That doesn't interest me either. Like, that's something where, like, hey, I'm the developer of the game, and fuck you, I'm not going to put any shit in my game to tell you what to do, because you need to go and, like, take an active interest in, well, fuck you. I got shit to do. Like,
one of the nice things about playing on the ground level is that we were all talking about it, and we were all progressing at about the same rate. Right. So, I mean, if we were stuck on the boar, for instance, we say, oh, so what did you do? What did you do? And if they didn't feel cheap that I was looking up a tutorial, I was talking to a friend about the game.
Right. That's some kind of meta game bullshit that I really hate.
So you don't have friends? Is that what you're saying?
It's not that I don't have friends.
Are you scared? 'Cause Sonny and I are going to castrate you if you ask us. If you ask us right now, how do you deal with the boar?
I'm not going to castrate him. What?
Right. No, I'm not worried about that. I just, in general, I like
to play with you.
Out things myself. Have I gotten to the point where people can join my world? Like,
yes.
Yeah. After the first boss, you met a guy who gave you a little sign that you can put down on the ground. I hope you met that guy.
Did you meet the best character in the game?
Is what?
Praise the Sun.
Oh, that guy at the...
Yeah.
Did he give me something?
Yeah, he gives you a couple things, I believe, but one of them is something you can put on the ground that will summon help or summon you as help.
Like black chalk or something, right?
Soapstone.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes sidewalk chalk.
What you can do is you can put that down in an area, and if somebody sees that is, needs help with the boss, they can summon you, and you effectively get kind of a trial of the level. You can check it out, very low risk. You can get souls. If you die, no big deal. You're just back into your own world. So that really helps a lot with the game. Mm-hmm. So don't be afraid to, join up with random dudes, or we can coordinate and have a good time.
That coordinating and having a good time
Would you like to come to my world?
Better than...
Perhaps I could come to yours.
Gross. So there are some negatives here, but the level design is, I think, genius. I don't know that there's a better way of putting... I love the design of the world.
Man, it's like everything is there for a reason and makes sense. It's so good.
Yeah, and at times you don't know why it's there, but you're like, eventually that's going to make sense. The flip side of that is, right now while I'm exploring, I'm worried that I'm going to forget where things are, and I don't want to expend the mental energy to memorize. I think it will happen anyway because I have to do things over and over again, but I really don't.
It has a pretty natural flow to it.
Okay.
Have you found any shortcuts yet?
Not real. I mean,
because there should be one after the Dragon Bridge, right after.
Right, where you kick down a ladder, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of little nuances like that all over the world that happen, and you'll find it, you'll follow them, oh snap, I'm here, I'm right here. So it feels kind of good finding those shortcuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you finally see the method to the intelligent design. I will use a word that should not be used.
Visceral.
Visceral. Emergent.
Set pieces.
Set pieces.
Let's see. Oh, so I have spent the first, I don't know, half a dozen hours basically leveling up my character whenever I get a chance. I'm not really buying stuff. I'm just trying to get stronger.
What are you using? Anything cool? Like, do you have like a pot lid and a club?
No, I'm a wanderer, I believe is the class.
I'm the wanderer. Okay.
Yeah. So I have a scimitar, which is awesome.
I think that's the class I started with too.
Wieners.
Wieners, and I also have a hot dog cart that I bring around. Wieners.
Speaking of hot dog carts, did you beat Bulletstorm? Because kicking hot dog carts and blowing them up was a lot of fun.
I have not beaten Bulletstorm yet. I'm still wherever I was when I stopped.
Hot dog carts, bro.
Hot dog carts. Yeah, so that's Dark Souls. I fear eventually I will just say I don't have time for this and I'll move on. Because the going back and forth, even going back to save and then having everybody respawn kind of bothers me. I understand why you're doing it. I understand the reason why they did it, because they don't want people who do what I do, which is save every 5 seconds, because they don't want to redo everything all the time.
It saves for you every 5 seconds.
Right. Well, can I turn the game off not being at a bonfire?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's usually a point in which it auto-saved not that far away.
Okay.
Like it's a little different because with Demon Souls, what you could do if you died, you could turn off the system real quick and turn it back on, and you'd be okay.
Thing is, the game autosaves every time you pick up an item, every time you move to particular locations, anytime you, go to your menu. It's always saved.
Pockets of enemies, so like after you beat like a pocket, it's going to save when you move on to the next set, essentially. So it saves often.
You need to outlaw that word, essentially.
I can't use essentially.
I use a lot.
Essentially, I just have one more question. In essence.
Of course. In essence.
One time when I sat at a bonfire, I got 10 of the flask things.
Yeah.
And then the next time I got 5, and then the next time I got 6. And it seems really arbitrary, and it's driving me insane.
Okay, the 10 is when you kindle a bonfire, which means you have to use a humanity while in human form, and that makes it a bonfire that gives you 10. Every once in a while, you'll get an extra flask if somebody else kindles a bonfire in a game near you. Look, you can't control that. Just deal with it. I'm sorry. But if I'm playing and I'm like, oh, cool, new bonfire, I'll kindle it while you're also at the bonfire. Get you an extra flask.
Okay.
And I also recommend be in human form as much as you can. It's not a big deal if you die, but being human, you end up getting a lot of cool stuff. And you can put down your little sign. Get your friends.
And how do I do that again?
Use humanity, and then at the bonfire you say, make me a human. And they go, you are a human.
And how do I use humanity?
They do.
You literally use it.
There's a tutorial. Did you read words?
Now, don't be mean to him.
No, but it's compared to like Demon Souls. They explain a fair amount.
I understand that.
In the upper left-hand corner, there's a number that's normally 0. When you use a humanity or gain a humanity in different ways, you can also gain them by helping other people and other things like that. You might see 1 there or 2 there. When you have 1, that means you have humanity that's been used, and you have to basically activate it at a bonfire.
Okay. What happens when you have a 2
That means you have 2
You have 2. You can kindle a bonfire, and then you can also go human if you want. If you've got a number up there, it's there to spend, so spend it.
All right. Fantastic. So
Look, don't be afraid to come to us, man. We love the game, and part of the fun, I mean, honestly, is helping each other and warning them about things and stuff like that. And it doesn't spoil the game. It's just, I don't know. It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing.
Wow. I'm gonna disagree, but okay, that's good to know. That does not appeal to me in the least. And
well, I beat Skyrim, so guess what you're going to have to do?
Beat Skyrim as well?
Beat Skyrim as well.
Nope.
Stop making potions. Right. So
read all the books.
The books are really bad.
I've read a few books since.
Read Darkest Darkness again? Could you accidentally hit read? Damn it.
Yeah. So that's Dark Souls. That's the beginning of Dark Souls. Once one gets into Dark Souls more, there's more to say about Dark Souls, but that's...
You're at the point in which you don't want any help because you like playing these games by yourself, but the game isn't giving you any help? That's essentially where you are?
I think that's the
in essence where you are?
I think essentially that's where I am.
If we break this problem down into the smallest pieces as humanly possible, the atoms, for instance, the quarks of your problem is that's where you are.
Yeah, I mean...
Crux, not quarks.
Right. Well...
No, quarks, atoms, quarks.
God, quark just sucked me in.
It's just... Yeah, in general, I like to play games... and figure games out by myself, and
send it back or beat it.
There, do or do not. There's no try.
Rip your beard hair out or send it back.
Yeah. Hey, if you can't beat it in a month, you gotta shave that shit.
How about I shave anyway?
Great.
Yeah, win-win situation.
Right. Yeah. So that's Dark Souls.
That it is.
In essence, that's Dark Souls.
Ultimately, this is Dark Souls.
Unequivocally, Dark Souls.
Yeah, kind of embarrassingly, that's pretty much all I've played this week. I've gotten very busy. So
call that embarrassing.
Okay.
Well, I played even less.
I don't know. It looks like you've beaten a game that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I finally completed the story in Skyrim.
Uh-huh.
Which has to be amazing since you can only play that game for an hour at a time.
Right.
Well, let me tell you about the ending of Skyrim without spoiling anything.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that the end of the game is a big boss fight. Not a surprise, right? That makes sense. Most games do that, right?
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
guessing it's against the dragon as well.
It may or may not be a dragon.
Okay.
Dragon Man.
Does whatever a dragon can.
Right?
Anyway. And what's really funny is that the end of this game managed to give me the essence of the Skyrim experience all at once. I'm
it essentially gave you Skyrim.
That it did. So Skyrim's essence means you beat the end boss after you go through all the conversations afterwards and people saying, you saved the Earth, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I glitched and fell through the mountain and died, and it respawned me right before the last battle.
Fantastic.
So you know what? My achievement popped. I took it out. I quit. I sent it back. That's it. Not doing it again. Not even bothering. You know, that game had a lot of really interesting things, and it just couldn't do it right. Like, a lot of really cool designs, but it just couldn't keep doing it right. They wanted that open world. They wanted that place you can get lost in, but it was just filled with dog shit.
Fantastic.
I don't know what else to say, except I'm glad it's over. I really thought that maybe I would still hang on to it to go through the world and maybe wrap some other things up. I beat it at level 41, I think. Maybe a little bit less. And, you know, I'm just done. I'm done. And if I ever do get it again, discount, whatever, because, you know, I went through my list of games to find out how many times I've double dipped. Holy cow, 89 times.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
89 double dip. I also counted how many times I've double dipped.
Let me guess, single digits?
Yeah, 0.
I
Jesus,
think I have
zero?
like 3 or 4 double
Why
dips.
would I double dip? What? In what way?
Well, you just got a PC. You just you just downloaded Steam in the past few months, haven't you?
Yes.
So that could be a
This
big
could very well change.
reason
But
why.
I also counted games on iPhone that I also own elsewhere, like Secret of Monkey Island.
Okay.
And Fairy Solitaire, which is a bitchin' game. I don't
Well,
even...
then Plants vs. Zombies, so 1.
There you go. You got that on your Fire, you got it on Xbox
Right.
Live, and maybe even on your phone.
No, but I will buy it if you want me to.
I have Plants vs. Zombies on 4 platforms. That's cool. What the fuck is
Did
wrong
you
with
count that as 1 double dipping, or was that...
I didn't actually count
That
Plants
was-
vs. Zombies.
That
Holy
was the quad. That was the quad dip, son.
Man.
So that's 90 even?
Oh, yeah, at least. And there might even be more that I missed.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and then, it's things like, I'm like, oh, Alpha Protocol. Yep, got that on PC and on 360. Assassin's Creed 2. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Prince of Persia. Wow, I own that on PC. Okay, Dragon Age Origins. Well, that definitely earned it. Burnout Paradise, I own this on PC. Things like that. A lot of them I haven't even tried on another platform. It's depressing.
What are you doing?
89. Well, my thought process is, I want a copy of the game that I can keep forever, so I'll buy it on PC.
Look at this pile of money I don't like anymore.
But you know what? You're talking to the guy who's looking at his collection now and sees Doug Williams' Black College Football Experience.
Yes.
So
Did the world a
perfect
favor.
addition to any man's
Yeah.
collection.
if
That's
you want to
fantastic.
be black and a football experience, that
So,
game.
call me stupid and dense.
You're
why would
stupid
you-
and dense.
Why would you ever play this game again?
Honestly, the only reasons I can think of is achievement cleanup and to see things that I
Pissed me
never
off.
ended up getting around to.
Right, okay.
There were no leftover story, no leftover missions that I even gave half of a shit about because I really didn't. The Civil War was handled poorly, really poorly. God, it was just pathetic. I did
Still haven't
encounter a
picked
real
the
neat,
side yet. Uh-huh.
encountered a real neat glitch. Eventually, you can go to a peace negotiation where 2 different sides on this particular, I guess I just might as well just call it the Civil War, would like
Well,
to.
I'm pretty sure you already have, so...
I might as well. But you sit down as a mediator for this peace negotiation. And you're supposed to listen to each side and make judgments, no big deal. And this is just a particular direction you can go. I'm not saying this will happen to you or anything, because it very well may not. But as soon as I sat down, we'll begin when you're seated, young man. Okay. I have a seat, and every character that has a line in this entire sequence started speaking at once.
At the same time?
At
Awesome.
the exact same time.
British Parliament, nice.
The subtitles
Bah, 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 bah.
flickering back and forth between 8 different people, and I could not read them quickly enough, and I read pretty quick.
Yeah, those subtitles, man. If you turn on subtitles in Skyrim, be prepared to just be like, this is bullshit. Because
So I gotta
even
get
like
10
the
seconds.
random noises on the outside get subtitles.
Yeah. I got a good 10 seconds of noise out of people's mouths, and then all of a sudden I zoom into one of them, and he's like, "So what do you think? Should we surrender this land?" And I was like, you guys can, sure, go for it. Really, really unfortunate, but like I said, between that and glitching through the mountain and dying at the very end of the game, at the epilogue, so to
Wow.
speak, that really does sum up my time in Skyrim very well, and it was fitting. It was a fitting ending, I guess I could say.
Did you do any of the Daedric Prince missions?
Define Daedric Prince, because I got many Daedra artifacts.
Talking dog.
Okay, yeah.
No. He's a Daedric Prince?
No, but that's for you end up getting a mask. Okay, so you got artifacts, so you probably brought
I've done
dudes.
quests for different gods.
Yeah.
Some of them were interesting in theory, but didn't work properly. There was a guy in a cage I told you about that.
Mm.
The guy in the cage that wasn't in the cage, but was pretending that he was.
I am sorry that you had such a bad
So pretty
experience.
much, if you're playing this again, you're going to pray that you get an unglitched copy.
Yeah, that's probably never going to happen because glitches from Oblivion are still in this game.
Well, a less glitch copy. A copy
Well,
you could play
it can only
for longer
improve.
than an hour. Yeah, it's only up from here.
If I do play it again, it will be on PC, just simply because it looks better and it should be more stable.
And you can get Macho Man yelling out as Dragon.
That is true.
Oh yeah!
Macho Man, the sky's the limit. Yeah, that's
so
what I
that's
did
Skyrim.
earlier this week.
What other game that I love that you hate did you play this week?
Oh, well, that would be L.A. Noire. The downloadable content is on sale this week as one of Xbox's deals, so seeing as how each episode was $2, I figured I'd just buy them all. All 3 of them. It would have been 4, but I did get 1 free with my pre-order. So I bought 3 new cases, put in the game, started a slip of the tongue, which is a traffic case. They're all different parts of the story. And I played through and I completed that. As I was playing, I started up and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this game actually isn't that bad. Good feeling, good mood. Cutscenes are really good and it seems well written.
Sweet suits.
Yeah, nice music.
Sweet suits.
Yeah, all the suits are awesome in that. Everybody wears a hat. Matching hat.
Yeah, it was, bygone era. But then I go out and I start driving. I'm like, oh, yeah, the driving's not that great. No big deal. And it wasn't a big deal. I got where I needed to go. It wasn't a problem. And everything was going swimmingly until I managed to get into another interrogation sequence. And I go, oh, yeah, these were really bad. And, man, I hate those interrogation sequences. Cole was at his most disjointed. The answers didn't make sense. I was getting every question wrong because I was looking for things I shouldn't have looked for. I don't even know why I was wrong for half of it.
Well, maybe
the problem is when you call someone out for a lie and you have a lot of evidence, you have to make sure you pick the one bit of evidence, and some of them kind of have some overlap. It's like, okay, I know you lied to me. That's a stolen car, and let me tell you why. And you're like, do you want to present him with the counterfeit pink slips, or perhaps the box of counterfeit pink slips? And you're like, I don't know which one of these the game wants me to give him.
Yeah, the trick of the writing is all in the lead up to what it asks you to present. So if you don't have something that correlates exactly 1-to-1, you're probably better off picking that middle option rather than lie. What is the middle one? Like doubt?
Yeah, doubt.
Yeah.
Well, and you see, doubt, for instance, wouldn't have worked because they wanted the individual pink slip and not the box of them or someone's testimony saying that they were lying about that. It stinks because I think that it would actually really be improved if multiple pieces of evidence would still work and you could work yourself towards the same conclusion. I think that would really have gone a long way.
If, along with the evidence, you were given like 2 or 3 dialogue options where you could like strengthen the reason why you're using that particular piece of evidence.
kind of guide you towards which one's the right one. Yeah, that would have made it a lot better, but it's still that really reminded me why I hated the actual game so much.
Well, you obviously didn't get the DLC where Cole has bipolar, so you don't know.
That's not DLC. That's in the main game.
It could be his fault. He actually goes to the doctor and is like, dude, you have bipolar disorder, man. Why are you yelling at everybody like that?
They should do a case where you have to go to a psychiatrist and answer questions. That'd be horrible. But, yeah, I mean, $2 a case is not bad if you wanted to find a reason to dive back in. And, the game is good, but those interrogation sequences really killed a lot of the game for me. And even playing them after finishing the game, I'm like, oh, it's filling in story gaps that should have been filled in before. That's helpful. So I started up the Reefer Madness one, as that's the next one sequentially in the story.
Yeah.
As you are on Vice, and it's about Reefer. And then the last one will be an arson case, and then I'll be done.
All right.
So, I don't know. They are cheap. I mean, $2 a case is a really good deal.
How well do they contribute to the main story?
They do a lot.
They do?
Yeah, they like I said, they fill in blanks that you eventually had to figure out after the story beat you over the head with it. But it would have been a lot more gradual and organic. If you get the option, if you've never played the game, either buy all the DLC first or get the Game of the Year edition, because you'll get a better experience overall with all of these cases played out naturally in the story instead of going back after the end and picking up the pieces.
Yeah, I think that's a really good recommendation.
There's a Game of the Year edition?
I believe so. I know that the PC version was Game of the Year.
Okay.
And they're, whatever. Spend whatever you got to spend. The game itself is like $10 on GameFly, so
yeah,
just do it.
Right.
And it's worth experiencing. They did do a lot of things right in the game. It's just it got spoiled by the end because they wanted to sell it to you. So
it got spoiled in the end because it was a game.
They call it the complete edition.
Complete.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't anyone's game
right.
of the year.
Because it's
yeah, there's no Game of the Year.
Because the other edition is an incomplete game. How's that?
I would like to see how many different Game of the Year editions there are for games that were not of the year, like by far. I'm really, really interested in something like that. Like, oh, really? Homefront Game of the Year? Okay.
Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition.
Let's take a look at that.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. And
okay.
It really doesn't sound like much, but you're right. I've been putting more time into Warriors Orochi 2. For some reason, I felt like I wanted to 1K that game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
That has to be a bitch to 1K. Is it like beat the story of every character twice?
No. The game has... Let me look at the back of the box here. It'll probably tell me. There's over 90 playable characters in that game.
Wow.
Everyone also has a bonus outfit HP in case you ever want to play.
Yeah.
Bonus outfit.
Dress up my doll.
But I have to do a few different tasks. I've only got like 3 or 4 more achievements left. One of them is like find all treasures, which means in every stage you have to do some very vague directions to get treasure to pop up, and you get that. You can upgrade your weapons. That's not the problem. The problem is there's a mode in the game called Dream Mode, which is basically What If, where it puts 3 people together. Because Warriors Orochi, even though it's about a demon that invades Earth that you go to kill, there's a dream mode for all the too fantastical ideas that did not make it into the demon coming story. But
okay,
they'll like put different people together on teams because it's a 3-player kind of thing. You have a team of 3 people that you choose, which is nice because you can do themed teams. HP, you know how that feels.
Yeah.
So they'll take like the 3 most innocent girls and put the biggest womanizing tyrant and make a tiny little story around that, and you as the girls have to kill this mean, dirty old man. Things like that. Problem is that for some of these dream mode scenarios to unlock, you have to do extreme things. Some of them are getting 3 particular characters up to level 99,
Whoa.
which isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
But even worse is there's a proficiency level that you gain every handful of bosses that you kill, and they need you to get to proficiency level 50 with certain characters in order to, and that takes forever. The problem with that is that they're all characters I never used, so I've got a long way to go for these bad little. So the game itself is still wonderful, and I sure do love it. That's all. Anyway, yeah, that's my life. Take it.
Fantastic. No, that sounds pretty good. This podcast has been longer than I thought it was going to be, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been about 40 minutes.
Longer than that. But yeah. Did you guys want to talk a little bit about the game innovations? I have one in particular that I would like to hit on.
Sure,
I'm spoiled, so I would say yes.
How are you spoiled?
Well, because I want to talk about my great ideas.
Okay, fantastic.
I do declare.
One that is particularly close to my heart. We're still counting down through Sunflower's 25 game innovations that shaped this generation.
21.
Actually, number 20 is the one I wanted to hit on. This is Rainbow Six Vegas is Terrorist Hunt.
What is Terrorist Hunt?
I was going to ask you that same question.
Well, let me tell you about Terrorist Hunt.
Okay.
What that is, it's a mode that was introduced in Rainbow Six. It was kind of introduced in different forms in previous games, but in Rainbow Six it finally finished, being refined, and they're like, all right, this is a new mode, and this is what you get. It gives you a list of enemies. You've got 50 enemies in this stage. You and your friends must kill them all. Go. And that's it. It's cooperative, it's small, it's self-contained, it's not a campaign by any means, and it's fun. And it was obviously the big inspiration for Horde mode in Gears of War that we all love very, very much, and is much more full-featured. But I think Terrorist Hunt was one of the first in that form to really come into its own and give people reasons to play the game outside of the story and outside of the competitive multiplayer, and make the game lots and lots of fun for people who don't necessarily want to be good. They just want to have fun.
Mm-hmm. And we have seen this idea kind of blossom specifically in the past few months. I think we had Gears of War 3 with Horde 2.0, next logical extension of Horde.
And those actually had you also had Beast Mode, which was kind of in a way the same thing, but you play as the enemies.
Which I think we'll see more of. And Modern Warfare 3 had a similar kind of Horde mode, waves of enemies.
That was a good thing that they added, I would say that.
Yeah. Uncharted kind of has a similar mode. So I guess my question now becomes, when does this mode become cliche? When do we no longer want this mode? Or will we always want something like this in our games?
I get the feeling we're always going to want something like this. I can't see any negative sides. I mean, almost every game that you come across, surely there will be some that don't really make sense that will come out in the future. Fear 3 has a mode like this as well. But it all makes sense because in most games, it's you against the world, in a way. Mm-hmm. Very few games have it a one-on-one type of battle thing. And I think this mode will work with the majority of games that are like that are you against the world. It's just a natural fit, and it's as natural as being able to hit two-player in an old Nintendo game.
So you think this is here to stay indefinitely?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think so. I can't think of any reason why it would be phased out or anything that would, be preferred to it. People like to play together, and they like it in low-pressure situations as well.
Yeah, it's a nice, light little change of pace compared to the more competitive, focused multiplayer that these games also sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's different strokes for different folks. It's good to have those two contrasting styles of game in the same thing.
So let me ask this then. So we have seen Terrorist Hunt and Horde and those kind of modes, and now with Horde 2.0 in Gears of War 3, we have started to add this extra layer of kind of tower defense.
Yes.
Do you think that's the next logical step, or do you think that Gears of War is kind of the only game that can pull something like that off?
I don't think it's the only one, but at the same time, I don't think this is necessarily where it's headed.
Okay.
That's a really tough question. We've seen tower defense show up in games like the new Assassin's Creed and be dog shit terrible. Just absolutely terrible. Okay. Worst part of that game. So I really don't know. I don't think it's as natural a fit as the, kill everyone type.
Yeah, the tower defense needs to be really light. It can't go too in depth with the tower defense. And Gears does it well because there's only 6 essential things six atomic things that you can build up. It's not like a crazy tower defense like, an actual tower defense game in which there's, 100 different permutations of things. And it's not necessary to actually build the items. You can go ahead and beat the horde mode without having to use any of the tower defense aspects. So I say it's nice as a little bit of an add-on. It's not the main focus at all. It's light, and it doesn't require too much thinking. It's like, yeah, sure, this would be a good place for, barbed wire. Why not?
Kind of along the same lines. I'm just curious what you guys think. If you guys think that there's another step that can be taken to add to this kind of horde mode. Is there another genre that we can mix in with it? Maybe RPG.
They kind of already do that with the levels and experience for your fortifications and gears. However, it does make sense, and I do like its implementation. So I think that is probably the most common route that most people are going to go.
Yeah, you're running into some danger when you start leveling up the character themselves. Because you want to be able to just hop in and play and not really worry about what level you are, what level your friends are. If you're like, let's say just for the basic number on the outside, I'm like level 22 and you're up to 50 now HP?
49, but yeah.
49, yeah. It's like I would not really enjoy it if your bullets killed faster. In that type of RPG aspect where your level's higher, so your character in game is going to be better.
Okay.
So I think I think that's one of the downfalls. That's like one of the things you cannot do in a shooter at all.
Is there another genre that you can think of that would be good to add to this type of game mode?
Yeah, just to make Sunny happy, we could throw some puzzles in there.
Oh,
some group puzzles.
Maybe some block puzzles.
Just give Marcus Phoenix a portal gun.
Don't give them any ideas.
I am not a developer. I'm really bad at ideas in general towards games. I'd rather just see, that was a great idea, and it's not like one of the ones who's like, I don't know why I didn't come up with that. It's just like, that's a good idea. Great, they put it in there. I can't see really anything mixing in there. I don't want to see like any racing cars. Don't give me Marcus Phoenix Kart Racer.
I would actually not mind seeing something similar to kind of in Halo, where you have Forge mode, where you could have maybe one character drop in certain things, maybe act kind of like a DM for this mode, where maybe they could drop in the Brumox or whatever to make it harder, or
just a map creator.
Yeah.
Interestingly, you're kind of referencing a couple other innovations that I'm going to unveil later. One of them being, I'll give you a little teaser here, everyone. Woohoo, because everyone's so excited.
You heard it first.
Left 4 Dead's AI director, the director as they called it, how it spawns things according to how well you're doing, and moves weapons, moves power-ups, maybe doesn't even give you them, just based on how well you're doing on the game.
Yes.
I think that's been an amazing innovation, to say the least.
And, wouldn't it be interesting if there was kind of a more active AI director for a mode like this?
It's weird because it kind of conceptually functions like the AI that we hate so very much in NFL Blitz that always keeps the games close. But in a way, I mean, they do it in a much, much better fashion. With Left 4 Dead by making it, again, feel organic and feel natural.
Yeah, it's
where
not
you don't
obvious
feel
at all.
necessarily like you're getting shit on. You're just getting really hard situations that there's ways out of them, but they're hard.
And for a type of game like Left 4 Dead, in which there's only 4 scenarios, each with 5 chapters, without that AI that changes things up every single time, it would just be dull after you beat it the first thing. It'd be like Brink. We beat it once, and now we know everything.
That's one thing I hope that they add to online multiplayer would be different tasks that are not like the rest of the game. Like, for instance, it's time for you guys to defuse the bomb. They planted a bomb in your base, so the technician on the team has to defuse it. You guys have to protect him while he does it. And oh, here's the bad news. Sonny's the technician, and he has to figure out the bomb, so it's a puzzle. So I'm screaming at everyone to shut the fuck up.
Cut the blue wire. No, don't cut the blue wire.
I know. I think that scenarios like that have the potential to be a lot of fun, but also could be really horrible.
Just like some instantaneous pressure that you weren't expecting.
Well, it's just, it changes things up for one person, and it's one of those things where your team just has to make it through that. Sorry that we gave the guy that can't deal with puzzles the puzzle, but do your best.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
Do you fill out a survey at the beginning of the game saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like puzzles? And then the AI will use that against you.
Or something really complicated so that any 13-year-olds playing the game would be just completely screwed and lose it for your team. That would be horrible.
Get your weight up, son. Flash.
Asking questions like, do you wash your ass in the shower? Then I don't know.
Not every day.
Anyway, the AI director, I think, is also a huge innovation, and we should see more. Artificial intelligence itself is always evolving and changing. It's still just a script. But I think it goes a long way towards replayability, and it made the games a lot of fun. Left 4 Dead, at least. I wouldn't have played nearly as much if it was a fixed location for everything. Not even close. Yeah,
I think the comparison between Left 4 Dead without an AI director and Brink is a good one, Doc. I think that is what Brink is.
Mm.
And if they had an AI director as well implemented as Left 4 Dead, Brink would be a much better game.
Yeah, not just an AI director for where the enemies spawn, but AI director for what challenge you have to do.
Yeah.
What piece of the puzzle you need. Well, no puzzles. If you need to go escort this person first, or you might have to do it last, or not have to do it at all.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, that was great.
Yeah.
I think we can call it there. How long has it been, Sonny?
Yeah, don't worry about the time. We'll just
fantastic.
call it there.
All right.
That's enough.
Oh, great. Well, thank you all for listening so much. This has been episode 22. 22. This has been Games Only Podcast, episode 22. I have been your host, HP1703, or Baby Can Slapty-Back. I forget my name. Anyway.
Baby Can Slapty-Back.
The incredulous one is Sunflower 4000. and the bubbly one is Dr. Gumar.
Hey guys, hopefully you have some new games for you next week. Final Fantasy 13 2 is coming out.
That it is. I have that pre-ordered and I'm buying it.
I have it pre-ordered as well, so hopefully we get
bro.
about a time.
Bumps.
Does that come out?
Yeah, bro bump.
Tuesday?
This coming Tuesday, yeah. You should get it too, bro.
Nah,
No, you're not gonna get it. Who am I kidding? You'd rather play Skyrim.
I have a lot of Dark Souls to play.
And
are you gonna stick with that for real? For a while?
Yeah. I know I can
give up
those things.
Before you give up,
at
least send out a cry for help from some of us, and we will try to salvage your opinion.
Maybe this weekend.
I'm sure you'll.
If you get frustrated, play that Darkspore.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Sounds good. Well, yeah, I can't wait until next week. So, until next week, everyone, thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. I said that too many times in the sentence.
Toodles.
Adios until next week.
Byes. I love you.
Hugs.
Kisses.
Fucks.
The end.